doesn't just happen. You don't go, hey, tomorrow I'm starting a business. Now, maybe for somebody like you and I, that's all we've ever known. We can do that. But we also understand that when you start a business, and this is for you, Michelle, there's a big period of time where you're probably not going to bring in any money. You're probably going to be reinvesting. You're probably going to be spending money. So if you're thinking about quitting your 9 to 5, make sure you've got a really, really clear understanding of what it's going to cost for you to start your business, and then take and either double it or add 50% to it, because it's always going to cost more than what you think. And then make sure from, not just from that standpoint, that you have enough money, enough runway to make it a certain period of time before you run to the dish. Because what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm not saying that's going to happen with you, but I've seen it happen a lot of times, and I love the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Did she tell us what business it is?
Nope.
She didn't say anything.
Nope.
She just, I started a business. No one cares.
Nobody cares. You know, I want to start this off real quick.
Okay.
When business owners, you know, thousands of friends on social media, people don't care.
No, they don't care.
They don't care.
So how do you make somebody care? I would say right off the bat, Letitia, and I'm going to go under the assumption that you did your market research and you think it's something they should care about, that you've solved a problem. So if nobody seems to care, what I would, if I was Letitia, it doesn't matter what business it is, I'd go hit up Google. I'd say, I'd put in my business and I'd say, what are the top questions that people are asking about this business? And what happens is Google is going to bring up, and it's going to show you like 4 or 5 questions, and it has this little chevron that you can click underneath it, and it'll bring up the answer. Now, these are millions of people asking Google this question about whatever your type of business is. I don't know what niche you're in, but what it does is it tells you what people actually care about as it relates to that niche that you're in. What would you say, Brent?
I would say be ready to pivot. So like I said, we don't know what you do, and tell us what you do. If you're a nail salon and you're using the wrong colors, I mean, be ready to pivot. Find out the pain point that is driving people.
Why's Letitia got to have a nail salon?
Well, I don't know. Maybe she has a electrician company, whatever it is.
I see.
Figure out and be able to pivot. If you find the customer's pain point, that's when you're going to start bringing customers in, and that's when people are going to start caring. If you go to social media, like you said, find out what those pain points are and post videos or comments about, have you ever had this as a pain point in your business? Or if it's a consumer side, then have you ever had this pain point in your consumer side? Get people interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, and you said a word just a little bit ago that I think all business owners, any entrepreneur has to be willing to embrace. And it's a kind of a self-reflection word, but be ready to pivot.
Yep.
So Letitia might have some infrastructure that could be relatable over into another industry that's similar, but not exactly the same.
Yep.
Right. And maybe you have to pivot off of what you're doing. If people aren't voting with their wallets, and that's really how you know at the end of the day what put money in the bank, that's how you can tell whether or not your business is something that people care about. If nobody seems to care and they're not voting with their wallet, just take a look at what you're doing, do that investigation, and then also